Happy 4th of July, everyone. So in a video I made a few weeks ago, I did a tutorial on Dash from Plotly, which lets you create these really cool dashboards with Python, like data-driven dashboards and graphs, and show all your amazing visualizations. It's really amazing and powerful. You could create an entire website with this thing. So I showed you how to do it and do it locally. But what if you want to deploy it and share with your friends? Let's say you're in the US and you want to share it with your friend who's living in China or France or whatever. So this is the point of this video. I'm going to show you how to use something called PythonAnywhere to deploy these types of Python websites or web apps. And specifically, I'm going to show you how to deploy this Dash app. So please watch this video, the Dash from Plotly, to get more information on Dash. I noticed not many people have watched this video. So it's kind of a mini prerequisite for what I'm talking about, but like I'll try to make it as least self-contained as possible. So we're gonna deploy everything with something called PythonAnywhere.com, which is actually really cool. So if you go to PythonAnywhere.com, you see that there's like plans and pricing, and you have a free tier. So it's a limited account where you're allowed to do one web app, but you can't do TradeMamba.com or CheapOptionsData.com. You have to do like your username.pythonanywhere.com, and you don't get a Jupyter notebook. Here, with all the paid versions, you can have your own website like TradeMamba.com or CheapOptionsData.com, and you get like a Python notebook support. So like it's if you want, the free version is good. You start with the free version. You have a little bit of low CPU, and then when you start getting stronger and more people, it starts scaling. Like this is 100,000 hits a day, and then this is like millions of hits a day. This is 1 million hits a day for 100 a month, and then you get like 100,000 CPU seconds per day. So like it lets you scale pretty fast, and once you get to this scaling, maybe then you'll actually make money, and you might actually be able to hire someone to make it better. So anyways, I think this is really cool. I actually have I have the $12 account, and so let's get started. Let me log in. I think it's pretty cool personally, at least so far. It does take a bit to get used to. So, but I've wasted time on it, so like I can help you guys without wasting time. So okay, so like I logged in, and then I go to my dashboard. So just as an aside, like. I can create like a Jupyter notebook with notebooks, so I already opened a few, but you can do add new. But this is only for the paid version, right? So this is just an aside in case, say like, let's say like you're like at your friend's house and you want to run Python, or you have like a computer that has like nothing on it. You can run it Jupyter on the browser, and you can do like import pandas as PD, and then you can do like df equals pd.dataframe and do whatever you want. A123 df. So just showing you that you can have a notebook anywhere. Okay, so we don't want to do that, so let's go back to the dashboard. We just care about the web app. I just thought as an aside that was pretty cool. So for the web app, so let's do open web app tab. Because I have the $12 version, I'm going to actually like show you how to create like a new web app. You get two web apps with the $12 version, and I can put my own domain, but I'm going to use the trademamba.pythonanywhere.com for this example, and let's start it. So we do next, and you can choose a Python framework, and it would probably be cool to learn some of these frameworks, but like I don't know any of these frameworks. So I'm going to do manual configuration, Python 3.10, because I want to use Dash. And I'm going to show you how to set it up. Okay. So you do next, and then you have your web app. So you have to like write a source directory. The main thing is you have to put your source code here, and your what's called WSGI configuration file here. This is the thing we need to edit. And we're going to need a virtual environment. So let's get started. So let's actually go back to our local development, like in all the other videos. So let's go to the local development. So remember in other videos I showed you guys like an intro to Dash. So I said like all you need to do is app equals dash and a layout. And here I did like a HTML heading 1, heading 2, trade mamba, and select ticker. So if I click this, I get like this app. And it's always on localhost 850, so you can go to localhost 850. And then this is the previous video, so please watch that video. And then I just created a slightly longer one with Yahoo Finance. So like you can see here, you can select the chart, let's say AMD. You get AMD chart, AMD table. Look how ugly the colors I made it, but it just to show a point, not to make anything good. So this is our app. So again, you can go to localhost 850 to see the app. But you can't have more than one app running on localhost 850, so let's restart this. So because we're going to want to create like a whole repository with this, so let's start like this. Let's restart. So let's start from scratch. So I created an empty repository called dash PythonAnywhere. So I go to code, copy, because we're going to do git clone. I do git bash. So now I'm going to do git clone this thing, paste, and now it's dash PythonAnywhere. So now you open PyCharm, or some people I guess like using VS Code, or you don't even need, you can do Spider I guess, or whatever you guys like to develop with. I do PyCharm, and it's supposed to open by now, but I guess it's taking forever. Why is it not opening? Oh, here it is. Okay, great. So I have a PyCharm. So let's, it opened to this, but so it opened to my blank project, and the project only has a README, and the README has some instructions I want to show you guys later. So what are we gonna do now? So the way to usually run Dash apps is you do like new file, and you have a file called app.py, right? This is like your main app. And I'll add this to Git. So this is what's usually done. So what's usually done is, let's go back to my scratch work here. And let's just use the tiny example for now, and then we'll change it to the bigger example. So what's here is I do this, and I have app like this. So, and then I do app.run or app.run server, and it's not the scope of this video to talk about the differences. But I don't have Python configured. But I'm going to need a virtual environment eventually when I deploy this app. So let's create a virtual environment. And it's funny, even though it's owned by Anaconda, you should create the non-Conda virtual environment. I prefer Conda with everything, but you need the non-Conda one here. So how do you create that? I gave myself some notes. And I guess you should open with, you probably should open with git bash, because it gives you like a more Unix type thing. So what do you have to do? You have to do Python 3 minus venv, and then your environment name. So let's call it venv. So now that I have the virtual environment, you see I actually need to configure Python. So let's configure the Python interpreter. You click this thing. Add new interpreter, add a local interpreter. And then let's point it to the virtual environment. So let's do existing virtual environment, and you see venv scripts python.x. Okay, so it's pointing here. So what you would usually do now is we need to install dash, and later we're going to need to install actually, we're going to later need to install Yahoo Finance. So you'd usually put dash in Yahoo Finance in some sort of requirements.txt. Okay, so let me show you guys. Let's open the terminal. First of all, to activate the virtual environment, so that's what always bothers me is that, so you do source venv scripts activate, that activates the virtual environment. This is for Windows. I wrote the instructions here for Linux, but I'll make a note for Windows. So this is activates the environment. And then you do pip install -r requirements.txt. You can also install everything individually, but let's just do requirements.txt. I already installed dash when I messed up a second ago, not on video. So like, okay, so now it installs the rest of things. So I needed dash in Yahoo Finance, and I stuck it in requirements.txt. Okay, so once that's done, so now how do you run this dash app? So you can click this to run app, but so this is how you would usually run it. So let's just run app for a second while we're waiting. So I'm running the app, and it's here. So it's just this because we didn't have the Yahoo Finance part, right? But later, actually, in PythonAnywhere, the app.run does not go here. We have to remove the app.run. So instead of just doing app, and I think the command it runs, by the way, was it runs it does like Python app.py. It's basically running that. But in PythonAnywhere, you don't have the app.run here. So let's actually create a new file, and let's call this local app.py, because we want everything to be as exactly the same as possible when we deploy it. So I'm gonna do so remember, I moved this app.run here because we don't use that in the deployed version. So what I'm going to end up doing, I'm just going to do, just so we can develop, I'm going to do from app, import app, and then I can do app.run. Let's kill the previous process. And now, when I run, I don't want to run app anymore. I want to run this one, a local app. So I'll do run why is it not letting me run? Didn't we just install this? Weird. Okay, so let's run local app, right? So local app, all it's doing is it's taking everything from the app thing and then just doing the app.run. This is just like sugar, kind of, because when we deploy it, you'll see that that's what we're gonna need. So then remember, like I did the second part where I like had the Yahoo Finance app. So let's actually do that. Instead of this app being like this, we'll do app like this. And remember, you do not have app.run in the app.py. You do if you're running it locally. That's all good. But we're not running it locally eventually. So that's why I'm putting this in the local app. Let's run it locally for a second just to show you guys how it looks like. So I do run app.py. And then I can look at the thing here. Oh. See, it's my ugly colored Yahoo Finance app. So like I can pick Meta. Don't know why it's not running. Yeah, yeah. So it's an ugly colored app, but like it's an app. It's interactive. It has like it gives you the price chart. Look at NVIDIA like going to the moon. Gives you a table of old prices and stuff like that. This was from the previous Dash video, so please watch that for more information. But remember, when we deploy it, we do not want app.run here. So that's why I created this kind of dummy local app.py, which will not be used when we deploy it. But now, let's run local app. All it's doing is it's calling this whole app thing here, the app, and then it's just like doing the run. So now I do that, and it's the exact same thing. Okay. So we're almost ready. So actually we are ready. So we have our app. So what we're gonna now do is we're gonna do git. Let's commit. And we need the app.py. We do not need the local app.py. You can keep it here. You know what? I'll commit it anyway to help you guys out. Requirements.txt, and then you can commit and push. And let's do hello world. Commit and push. So I committed it to this repository and I pushed it. Okay. So now this is what the local development we needed. So now let's go back to the PythonAnywhere thing. So now we're back in our PythonAnywhere dashboard, and I actually deleted the web app. So let's create the web app again. So you do add a new web app. You do let's do trademamba.pythonanywhere.com. Manual configuration. Python 3.10. So next, and then let me show you guys the big picture things you need to change. So big picture is we're gonna need to put a library for our source code. Here, and we're gonna also need to change this WSGI config file. So by default, the WSGI config file is this bad boy. So then if you go to the website, http://trademamba.pythonanywhere.com, what do you get? You get the default, which is going to be hello world hosted. So we're going to need to change that. Okay, but let's show you how to do all the steps together. So you have to, let's go back to consoles. So what do we need? We need a bash console, right? So we are going to first clone the repository that we just pushed to GitHub, and you see like we have all the files that we need. So I'm going to do git clone, and then I'm going to copy and paste what I need to clone. So I do code this thing. So this is step one. And I try to write the steps in the README here. So step two is we're going to need to create a virtual environment, right? So we're going to do Control V, and let's not call it myEnv. Oh, first of all, you have to, of course, do cd dash PythonAnywhere, and then let's create the virtual environment. Python 3 minus v venv, we'll call it venv. So that creates the virtual environment. And then we're going to have to do pip install minus r requirements.txt. After we have to activate the virtual environment first. Sorry, it's this thing. Remember, it takes a few seconds for a virtual environment to get created. Okay, so now we do this thing where we do source venv bin activate. As you see, we're at this venv. So then we do pip install minus r requirements.txt. And I'll show you in a second if you miss some installs what you would do. Okay, so here I only have two dependencies, so it's not a big deal. But when you miss some installs, I'll show you later. So okay, it's installing these files, and then I guess we can go back to PythonAnywhere, and let's go to web app status page. Let's go back to web. It's still getting ready because it's installing, but we're gonna have to enter the path to our app source. So this is gonna be home, trade Mamba, and then we call this dash PythonAnywhere, right? So let's do that. And then remember, I told you guys we have to change this WSGI thing, which is instead of the scary thing, we go to our GitHub and we just do this like less scary thing. So the less scary thing is this. Okay, so now we do save, and so the next thing we need to do is we need to add our Python virtual environment. So how are we going to do that? You go to the virtual environment thing below here. You do enter path to a virtual environment, and remember we just created this one, trade Mamba dash PythonAnywhere and venv. And if it's successful, you'll get the option to open a console with this. So you can just start a console in this virtual environment, and this is useful like if you like have an install problem, like the requirements.txt, the install wasn't magical right away. You can now do like, and I'll show you this example. You can do pip install other problems. Okay, so actually there will be other problems, and I'll show you in a second. So now you can go back to the web app, and then you can reload this website, and then let's go to it. And like when it's getting ready, it's going to say something went wrong, and then it'll say, oh, we have an error log. So usually at the bottom it'll tell you the thing is, it says no module named app, from app import app. So I guess I made a mistake here, but this shows you like the error log gives you like errors. So there's no module named app. So what did I mess up on? So when I do this, WSGI thing, let's click it. I spelled anywhere wrong, so I need an E here. Okay, Sorry about that. I made a mistake. You can also do reload. Let's see if this fixes everything. So let's go back. TradeMamba.PythonAnywhere.com. Yay! It worked. So I just spelled something wrong, but at least I showed you guys how to use the error log. So yay! We have our beautiful, ugly website. Yay! If you guys enjoy this video, like and subscribe. I'll do many Dash videos because I like this whole Python web programming. Just one last thing is, let's say you're using Polygon or other data providers. You're not allowed to distribute data without like a special permission. So I'm not sure of Yahoo Finance's policy. But I saw here you can actually do something like password protection and enable. Then you can add a username, hello, and password world. And then you can do something like this. So now I can go to this website again. Oops. TradeMamba.PythonAnywhere.com. I thought the password would work. Maybe I have to reload the website. Reload. So now I can do this website. So I'm happy it worked. Oh, see, it's still reloading. And once it reloads, you get a username and password. Hello world. So I hope this helps you guys. Please like and subscribe. Thank you guys so much, and enjoy the rest of your 4th of July.